First, I just want to bring up a document. It's from your department. You released it in December, and it's called Australia's Emissions Projections for 2019. It says that there's a table here that says our abatement task to meet the government's 2030 emissions reduction target will be to reduce emissions by 395 million tonnes over 10 years. It also says our overachievement, which could be used as carryover credits, is 411 million tonnes.
Yep, that's correct.
Does this mean then that we can stay at the same emissions as the current level and meet and beat our target?
No, it's not what it means. It means effectively that with the overachievement we have less carbon in the atmosphere as a result of the hard work of Australian businesses and households. We're in a position to meet and beat, and you'll see, in fact, there we're ahead of the target already in 2019 for 2030. We will meet and beat based on our current projections. Now,
yes, but you'll meet and beat based on the carryover credits. Is that
well, that's one factor. There's more to it than that, of course.
Big factor,
well, no. Let's be clear about this. Emissions now are almost 50 million tonnes lower in our time in government than they were under the previous Labor government. So we have seen a very, very strong performance
over recent carryover carbon tax.
We've seen a very strong performance over recent years. Now, the truth of the matter is, the result of Australians overachieving on our 2012 targets and on our 2020 targets, we've got a year to go, but projections there are that we'll be well ahead, 411 million tonnes ahead. It means there's less carbon dioxide in the atmosphere as a result of the hard work of Australian families and businesses, households and businesses, and we believe that we should be given credit for that. Now, we're ahead of the game, and our targets are a floor, not a cap. They're not a cap on our ambition, and we'll continue to work hard. This is not set and forget. We'll continue to work hard to meet and beat those targets by 2030. 11 years ahead of time,
Okay,
Andrew.
all right. But, Mr Taylor, why do we need carryover credits? Why do we need to go on the international stage and argue for carryover credits? Shouldn't we just be trying to get that 26% target anyhow?
Well, we'll only use them if we need to, and we've been very clear about that.
Well, do you believe we'll need to use them?
The simple point about this, Andrew, though, is this. If you repay your mortgage early, you don't expect the bank to pocket the money. Australians have worked hard. We've seen a lot of businesses, and I've seen it in my own career, pre-politics as well as after entering politics. We've seen a lot of Australian businesses and households do all sorts of things to reduce their emissions, to drive energy efficiency. And I'm sure you've got lots of listeners out there who have done things in their own homes and in their small businesses and larger businesses to reduce those emissions. Now, the result of that is we are one of not a large number of countries in the world that has overachieved, not by a little bit, by a lot. This is almost a year's worth of emissions reductions we're beating our targets by for 2020. We believe we should be given credit for that, but we also believe it's the responsibility of the government to keep working hard, to do as well as we can, to beat those targets by as much as we possibly can.
All right. Well, look, is there any chance that on the international stage, as these COP meetings go on, that the carryover credits provision will be struck out and we won't be able to use them?
Well, I mean, the Paris Agreement is it's set by what's called nationally determined contributions. So countries set their targets and they set them at a sensible level for them to ensure that they get the right trade-off. And for us, that means a target which we can achieve without trashing the economy. And this, of course, was a major issue at the last election. We saw Labor with a 45% emission reduction target, which we believed would trash the economy, would shed jobs. We had independent modelling telling us that. We weren't going to go down that path. This is a sensible target. We know we can achieve it. We'll strive to beat it. And, of course...
Will you strive to beat it without using any of those credits?
Well, we'll use the credits if we have to, but we will strive to beat it. And, of course, so central to that is technology. And we're seeing already now, I mean, much of the work that's been done in the businesses I described and the household I've described is deployment of new technology. We're seeing in Australia world-leading investment in renewables, solar in particular. The costs have come down dramatically in recent years. We're seeing new technologies emerging on the storage side, whether it's lithium batteries or hydrogen, where we're making very significant investments. We know technology has the potential to allow us to reduce emissions without hurting the economy, without shedding jobs. That will be our focus, and our targets will always be set at a level where we know we can achieve the outcomes without that economic damage.
Okay.